We have one more item, and just again to set the stage a little bit for the climate change discussion, and a gentleman who is doing a lot to, if you will, try to cool things down in a number of ways. And I'd like Rich VanderVeen to come up and just say a few words about Great Lakes Wind Collaborative under the leadership of the Great Lakes Commission. He has been the convener of this group, and I know Rich is very involved in that. Our organization has been as well. Rich, you want to share a little bit with us?
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, David, for all your good work. This really is a group of people who have, as Mayor Daley said this morning, people who know people. You know your constituents. You know your communities. And the most important thing you have done, and you will do, is engage those communities in thinking about these issues, to educate them, to involve them. One of the things that I'd like to talk about real quickly is in Grand Rapids, again, my good friend George Hartwell started something called the Community Sustainable Partnership. This was a group of private sector and public sector and academic groups that really took a pledge to build LEED certified buildings. I think we have the most LEED certified buildings in the state, in the country right now, per capita. The point being, there's a whole series of actionable goals and objectives that can take place in each of your cities that will address not just the adaptability and resilience for climate change, but ways to make people aware that this is something that we all have a stake in. Go to the next slide. I'm sorry. Let me do it. Okay. Well, very quickly, I've got just a few minutes. I want to talk briefly about the Great Lakes Wind Collaborative has come together. It's 8 states and 2 provinces, scientists who focus in particular on wind power and how to appropriately site it, how to appropriately engage the local communities with local, state, and federal policy that gets people involved from the beginning as opposed to imposing this in totally different ways to do it. So that when you think about an overall strategy, could this group begin the thought pattern of thinking through a regional strategy? Whoops. As George has said, climate change and the resulting impacts have already and will continue to affect all sectors of a community, including the economy, social well-being, and environmental stability. Here's a quick map of the multiple utilities that serve the Great Lakes. And what stands out here is that there are so many different planning organizations on top of the regional cities, townships, villages, counties. You have utility planning districts. Could we, as a group, think through a resource plan that said, we're looking ahead 50 years, what's the world going to look like? And then milestoning back to today, how much energy do we need? And the next question is, where's it coming from? Will it continue to come from coal and nuclear and gas? Or can we shift the people's thinking into energy efficiency? Because again, every time you save a kilowatt, you don't have to pay for it. You keep resources in the ground, pollution out of the air. So this becomes a very, very smart thing to do. But as you think about defining community beyond political boundaries and thinking about the Great Lakes as a community, then you as mayors have this incredible ability to reach out to your constituents and create something with a vision that will empower and facilitate things going forward. Real quickly, in mid-Michigan, we had the great joy of putting up the largest project in the state by engaging the public with a pooling easement agreement and county-wide zoning. We had 23 units of government adopt the same rules. And this 3 or 4 year process involved everyone from the beginning. And that early engagement was so important to then receive unanimous approvals for this largest project, 133 turbines. And one of the things we did, of course, along the way is involve young people. the future farmers of America used as their debate topic. Who here has ever been an FFA member? Anybody? Well, they have a district and a regional and a state contest for debates, and they put us through the most rigorous questions, as you can imagine. Public health issues, property value issues. How does this affect it? They had three short ways in which they communicated the issues, with two farmers leaning over a tractor, the pros and cons of wind. The congressman facing his constituents who raised good questions, and then a coffee shop. And they took this to the district, the state, and the regional, and then they won. But more importantly, they brought this to the community. And by the time we went in for our special use permits, we had 4 townships in an auditorium with 360 people there to put up 133 turbines in 4 counties on 50,000 acres with 250 families signing the same easement. And we got unanimous approvals that evening. It was really fun to have worked with these kids to get that going. So I would urge all of you to think about community in terms of wind. If you download this iBook we've just put on the web, we're going to make a donate. All the money will go to the Superior Watershed Partnership, and it's a statement about how we put this together, and how the community, the Great Lakes Wind Collaborative, helped put this whole process together. And I've also listed in your books some important websites. And finally, I'd like to just read something from my old friend John Volker. John Volker wrote something called The Testament of a Fisherman, and the reason we're here is to protect the environs where trout are found. Men are going along this way for the last time, and I don't want to waste the trip, he says. And I think that this is all part of what we're doing. Let's not waste the trip. Let's put our time on this earth to work for our kids, our children, our great-grandchildren, and think about sustainable energy as a way to set the stage to reduce climate change. Thank you.